Heading north this morning. We're going to look at a 4106. It's in Hartford City, Indiana. So depending on traffic, that's about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive from Indy with construction. Bus has a pretty good oil leak on it and got some other issues with it. So we're going to shoot up there today, take a look at it, kind of get an idea of what's going to be needed to get done on it so we can get a parts list together, kind of get an idea of what repair is going to be necessary, and then we'll be heading back up there afterwards. I'm guessing a second trip will be needed by the time they get parts and all that, but seeing as it's not that far away, it's not that big of a deal. So we're just going to keep rolling through here. Pretty nice morning. It's in the low 60s. Got the windows down in the shop truck, just enjoying the weather. So we've done a little bit of work today on the bus. First thing we saw is this valve cover is bent and leaking. The top one is the aluminum one, and we don't have any leaks coming from up there. So he's going to find another aluminum one to match down here. We're going to get that put in. Also, both of the plates on the bottom were leaking. I did not have the gaskets with me today to seal them, so put a little bit of RTV on them for right now. This is a temporary fix. I'm going to have him get the gasket sets for those so we can actually seal them. We also have a little bit of oil leaking out of the air boxes. I'm going to have to do a little bit more inspecting on those. The blower has a little bit of oil in it. It's not too bad. The gasket on it was damaged. I have it back together enough that if he needs to move it a few feet, he can. Obviously, I don't recommend moving anything when it doesn't have emergency shutdown on it. But he said if he does decide he needs to do it, he will put the emergency shutdown flaps back on it. And then I just put the bolts and the return spring back in place, so if he has to put it back together, we can see what needs to be done on it. But that should be fixing up most of the oil leaks on this engine. They all appear to be coming from this lower bank here. We've also got a bell housing bolt right there that is stripped out. So we're going to have to do a thread repair on that when we come back. He's going to order some parts for that. And then we're going to do a little bit of a clutch adjustment because there is a little bit of excessive free travel on the clutch. But overall, starts right up, it runs good. When we come back, we're also going to set the injectors and the valves on it. Go ahead and teach him how to do that. He's recently purchased this bus, so we'll show him how to do that. I can put another video out for you guys with the dial gauge now that I have one, how to set them. I'll teach him how to do it with the pin so he can order the pin for it, and then show him how to set the exhaust valves on it. This is a 4-valve 8V71 with C60 injectors. This engine is about 50,000 miles right now on an out of frame, but it's been sitting for a little bit too. So we're going to try to address a few of the oil leaks, get the oil consumption number down a little bit. Like I said, we're going to fix those bolts in the bell housing. We'll do a clutch adjustment when we come back. But for the most part, it starts up great. It runs great. It's in the low 60s in Indiana today. Not being plugged in, it fired right up. I mean, low 60s obviously isn't too bad, but for an engine that doesn't have glow plugs or grid heaters or anything like that and no ether, it still fired up no problem. So we're going to run through that. We'll run through some other maintenance stuff since he is new to these. Look at the airbags. He's going to do airbags as a winter project, so I'll probably run him through a little bit of what he's going to need to look forward to on getting those done. But just a really nice 4106. I really like that seat. I kind of want to get a set of those. They look really comfortable. I'll have to ask him where, but he said that there's an RV parts supplier near here that he got all three of these chairs from, the couch, the vinyl for back there, just dirt cheap. So we're heading back to Indy. I've gave the guy who owns that bus a list of parts to track down. I'm going to send him who to get a hold of to get them. We're going to get a new valve cover for it. We're going to get some gaskets to replace the ones that I already need replacing and a few that I want to take apart to do some inspecting. He is going to go ahead and see about tracking down a helicoil set for that bell housing bolt. I know you guys are probably going to say it's not the best way to do it. I'm well aware of that, but we don't have much option right now. So we're going to try to get that drilled and installed, because there's not much we can do, especially without taking the transmission off of it. So we're going to see about getting that done so we can get that bell housing bolt back in there. I mean, one bolt being out may not be the end of the world, but I don't like having stuff done that way. If there's a bolt hole and there's supposed to be one there, I like to have one back in it. You know, even if it's only clamping at half the force of what it should be with the helicoil, it's still better than not having it. But he's going to go ahead and track that stuff down, and then we're going to head back up here. Depending on how long the parts take to get in, I'd say a week to a week and a half. And we're going to get him back on the road. Well, not really back on the road, but you know what I mean. We'll get him going again. Get some of these leaks taken care of. We'll get the clutch adjusted for him. Show him how to set valves and injectors on it, and do stuff like that. That's something I'd like to try to do with all my customers. If any of them want to learn how to work on this stuff, I'm just as happy to teach somebody else how to do it as I am doing it myself. I'd actually prefer to do it that way. You know, a lot of shops don't like their customers being involved with their work. We encourage it. You know, if somebody wants to learn how to work on this stuff, there are less and less people every day that can work on a two-stroke Detroit and that know how to work on these old buses. And, you know, everyone that we can teach at least a little bit at least keeps these things alive. So, you know, try to spread knowledge on them wherever we can. You know, I'm not out to be the only person that does it to make a fortune and hide what I know. You know, and I'm still learning. You know, Dad's still learning on this stuff. You know, try to pick up knowledge wherever you can on this stuff, because the people that know what they're doing, there are fewer and fewer every day. And, you know, we do what we can to try to keep these things on the road. You know, some people just look at it as an old bus, but, you know, to me it's history. Same with old tractors and old vehicles. I love, you know, the history of this stuff. You know, they don't make anything like that anymore, and it's just nice to see stuff like that stay out on the road.